Well, hi everybody, Lisa Tamati here, and I just wanted to do a little quick video live here about adrenal exhaustion and accumulated fatigue amongst athletes. It's really starting to worry me, the number of the athletes that are coming to us that have massive problems with adrenal fatigue, sometimes unbeknownst to them. They're facing repeated injuries, they're pushing themselves hard, and one of the things that really concerns me is that social media especially sways and skews the view that we have of the world, and as runners, a lot of you guys that are on my page are runners, and we are constantly fed information from other runners that they're doing this race, that race, and every other race, and it appears like everybody is doing massive amounts all the time, and this puts massive pressure on people to think that they should, that FOMO thing, fear of missing out. I'm not doing enough, everyone else is doing more than me, I have to go harder, I have to be better. Of course, you've got on Instagram and everywhere else all these beautiful body pictures everywhere, and all this creates a really skewed view of the world. And a lot of the athletes that I see are coming not just because of social media, but for years and years we've been told you got to, it's all about working hard, training hard. If you're not getting the performances, you have to work harder, and that's all great if you're a 20-year-old elite athlete and you haven't had any issues yet. But if you go too hard out for too long, you're gonna run into troubles, and this is especially, I'm noticing, amongst women, especially women in their 30s and in their 40s. Who have, traditionally been able to go really, really hard. And I'm speaking really from experience here, and this is why I'm so passionate about this subject, because it's one that's really important, I think, to get out there. We have this perception that we have to go really, really hard and go beyond all the time. And if we've got an injury, if we just have to work through it, if we have got, if we're getting sick or whatever, it's never our training that usually we that's the last thing that we want to put aside, okay? We push harder and we just tell ourselves to take a teaspoon of concrete and toughen up. And the problem with that is that goes good for a couple of years. You can get away with it, and especially if you're younger, you can get away with it for a while. But sooner or later, we're just noticing a huge number of athletes that are coming through our doors at Running Hot Coaching, and they're facing massive adrenal fatigue. The training isn't working. They're hitting injury after injury, muscle tears, inflammation in the system, weakness, thyroid problems, adrenal exhaustion, cortisol levels through the roof. All of these sort of knock-on effects. And I wanted to share a little bit of a story from my life in the last couple of years, because if I can share this story in order to give you guys and prevent you going down the same path. I mean, I've done a hell of a lot in my life, and I've gone hard for way too many years, and I've got some massive kidney damage. I have had tumours in my uterus, and I've got toxicity problems, electrolyte problems. And a lot of this has come because I pushed my body too hard in too extreme temperatures with massive dehydration, and the knock-on effect has been that the kidneys now don't function as they should, my liver doesn't function as it should, I've got thyroid issues, hormonal imbalances, hence the tumours growing, and all of these things can be a knock-on effect of you not listening to your body. And I never listened to my body. I was like, I'm tough, I can handle it, I can push through, and it's all going to be good. And I've been paying the price for that for the last 2 years and trying to undo some of the damage that I did, changing up my whole systems, working with a whole lot of experts on adrenal exhaustion, and rebooting my body, if you like. And I know I'll get there, and I'm much better than I was. But if I can prevent another athlete from going down the same path, then that would be fantastic. A lot of the women athletes that we're getting through have lost their menstrual cycle, which is a really big red flashing light of warning. If that's happening to you, please get in touch immediately. If you are feeling like you've lost all the passion in life, you're exhausted all the time, you're never happy about anything, you can't find any joy in life, if you feel like you're constantly on this treadmill of trying to keep up and all this sort of thing, then your stress levels are probably through the roof. Your adrenals are not working properly, and you're producing, have been producing too much cortisol and too much adrenaline for too long, and now they're no longer functioning properly. And this can have knock-on effects then on your hormones especially. So if you're experiencing any of this, I want you to, I spend half my time trying to get my athletes to take a step back. If they're facing these sort of problems, take a step back, recover, rest, do things like yoga and Pilates, go through some adrenal testing if possible, get on some good supplementation. There's a whole lot of testing that we do at Running Hot Coaching. In fact, my business partner Neil Wagstaff does something called Boost Camp, which is really looking at the health, your holistic health program for you. So yes, we want to get you to a marathon or your ultra marathon or whatever your goal is, but first let's look at what's going on in your body, repairing the damage that's been done before we move forward into stepping up your mileage, etc. I just had a conversation with a young lady today doing massive mileage and going, why am I putting on weight? Why am I getting unfitter? Why do I feel like, and I'm working harder than ever before? If that sounds like you, then please, get in touch, because we really need to attack this problem, okay? So if you see everybody else out there doing a billion races and so-and-so's done this and everyone else is doing that, and you feel like you're just facing injury after injury after injury, if you feel like you're exhausted all the time, if you're losing the joy in life, if you're feeling depressed or any of those other things, then there is a way out of this, and it isn't going and smashing yourself for longer and longer periods. At Running Hot Coaching, we are really adamant about, we do not believe in the old traditional high mileage models anymore. Those high mileage models, they work if you're a young athlete. If you are in your 20s and you haven't been doing this for 10 years and you want a PB at your next race, that might work, okay? But that's not the way to do things efficiently, and it's certainly not the way to have longevity in the sport. And this is so I just had a phone call come through in the middle of it. So I really hope that you take heed in what I'm saying. And I'm not getting it out very well, but come and see us at Running Hot Coaching, because we know how to get you back on track, get you healthy before you undertake your goals. And this is not to say that if you're facing these issues now that you can't get back on track, back into health and back out there. I mean, and that's certainly my goal, to get back where I was. But you cannot keep going at 100 miles an hour and expect your body to cope with it. You have one bucket of stress, right? And if you're working full-time and then trying to train like a full-time athlete and having other stresses at home, kids and work and relationships and all this, something's got to give, yeah? Something's going to overflow. This one bucket of stress, it all has the same effect on the body. Your adrenals get exhausted and then you're in trouble. So you need to back down somewhere. You need to back off either on your workload or on your training load. You need to get good quality sleep. You need to have really good hydration. You need obviously a good diet and nutrition plan and all of these things. But by just pushing on and going, I'm going to push through this injury, I'm going to run harder and further, then, that's not the way through. Please listen to me, because I really do know what I'm talking about, and I'm sick of seeing burnt out, broken athletes who are usually very driven, they're very focused, they're incredible people, but they're just pushing too hard. And sometimes it's best to go back. Let's take 6 months' time, because it takes time to reboot your whole systems. Let's go back, do some adrenal testing, let's do some education around what your body, let's look at things like epigenetics, and of course some of these tests cost money, and they're not all free, but there's a lot of things that you can do even without that, and we do all that at Running Hot Coaching. So we would love to have you come and message me, email me at lisa@lisatamati.co.nz. Check out our website, our coaching website, which is runninghotcoaching.com. And if you've got any problems or queries around this area, I'm going to be doing another Facebook Live with my business partner, Neil Wagstaff, who's a real expert in this area, and he can add more to the conversation and tell you a little bit more about Boost Camp and about epigenetics. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. If you're facing those injuries, if you're facing that adrenal burnout, please get in touch. Thanks, guys.